Hello, everyone, and welcome
to
one last
One
time
Last
watching Twin Peaks for the first time.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You finished watching Twin Peaks for the first
I can now
time.
be a Twin Peaks fan.
Yes,
for real.
You can go on to Reddit and
go
the
look
Facebook groups
at things
and talk more with the people who've
Yes.
been following us along on our journey.
Yeah.
We appreciate the
fantastic.
interactions and the comments
Yeah.
and things like that. And we've never said this before, but like and subscribe.
Yeah.
You know?
If you want to see more of this crazy.
Well, I don't know what we will do next.
Yeah.
You're going on more adventures out into the world. So
we'll see.
Mackenzie, sometimes it looks like Mackenzie is a 14-year-old child.
12?
But Mackenzie's in her early 20s and she's got other stuff.
I got other stuff to do.
So I've loved watching this show and discussing with you and analyzing it with you. And
me too.
You've come up with a lot of great insights that have changed my interpretations of Twin Peaks.
That's good.
Yeah. So no, I think in good ways. You've noticed things that I haven't noticed before. Or you just had different interpretations that I hadn't really considered.
Like the Laura being an angel type of thing.
Well, some of I don't know that I subscribe to the Laura's her own angel theory, but I like that. But those are things that I like. So, trying to think what has been the most. I think that for me the most influential idea is the notion that Leland
is responsible.
Is responsible.
Yeah.
And because I've just I think when I watched Twin Peaks, when I watched Twin Peaks for the first time, I thought of it as like, oh yeah, he's just possessed and he can't help himself. And through our discussions, we've gotten to the complexities of moral responsibility and fighting off evil, and also your idea that Laura is stopping Bob and therefore doing sort of this courageous act. Is a great interpretation as well. So yes, so I've altered my interpretations, but let's see how it goes for this episode, because today we are talking about part 18, the final episode of season 3 of Twin Peaks. And I've been trying to. I thought I had come up with some rock solid interpretations, but now I don't know anymore. So maybe as we talk it out.
I like to think of it as the wrench episode.
The wrench episode.
You thought you knew. Let me throw a wrench.
And we were just talking about this with part 17.
Yeah.
If part 17 ended with the vanquishing of Mr. C and Dale Cooper, saying nice things to everybody. And saying goodbye, and then going off with Gordon Cole and Diane to not into a weird dark room and into another lodge area, but if they just headed down the road into the plane and they waved goodbye to everybody on the tarmac.
But then Albert would go with them too.
Yes. So if those good things happened, and it would be sort of this traditional wrap up, flying off into the sunset. My wife might be happy about that, but I think we would be disappointed.
Right. It'd be like, oh, okay.
So strangely, maybe because of season 2, but strangely, we want to have.
I want to keep going.
Well, we want it to obviously want it to keep going. But even if it doesn't keep going, we don't want a sense of finality where everything makes perfect sense.
Right.
I think we want questions. We want strange questions. And so he delivers on that. Gives us a lot of unanswered questions in part 18. So let's get to it.
Yes.
One answered question that we get is at the very beginning of part 18, where Dougie returns. Well, the first thing we see is Mr. C is on fire.
He's on fire.
So what do you think about that?
Is he being cleansed? Is he? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him.
You could change the movie title to "Fire Sit With Me" because he just. So I thought it was interesting that he is not screaming in pain. He's just accepting it.
It's like
and that his eyes are lighter in color, in particular the left one. It looks like the left eye is a doppelganger eye. And the other one looks kind of pale as well, but
not as
it's
interesting.
Not as pale. Yeah. And then I don't know if it cuts to an empty chair.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means that Mr. C blinked out of existence, or we're just cutting to a different chair where we're making room. That's what I feel like.
We're gonna make Dougie somewhere.
So Mr. C is burning in some room somewhere, and then in another room, Mike is making a Dougie,
a stale Dale.
And so, what did you think of the new stale Dale?
I loved that. In fact, that was the only ending I really needed to see. Because I just wanted him to be okay. I wanted that family to be okay. And I want Dougie to do good in his job by not doing anything. Mm-hmm. So I was happy that still exists.
Yeah.
And like, that was the only ending I really needed.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. So when the new stale Dale or Dougie pops into existence,
where am I?
He said, "Where am I?" Right. So he's got like enthusiasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we're watching Dale Cooper in the second half of this episode, he doesn't have that same enthusiasm.
Yeah.
There might be different reasons that we'll get into.
Right.
But one possible reason is by plucking his hair and then using the seed.
Yeah.
Did Dale Cooper give up some of his really chipper enthusiasm?
Ooh. I don't
for coffee and pie and things like that.
Maybe part of like he split himself, like I imagine Laura splitting herself.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, because we've been talking about it, and the more I think about it, I feel like the Dale that we see going throughout this episode later on is kind of just like sad, confused Dale who's trying to get a grip. Like, I know we were like, who is that? Is that the other Dale? Is that Mr. C? Who is that?
Yeah.
And I feel like it is him.
It's Dale Cooper, sad, trying to get a grip.
He's like, I don't know where I am. I gotta get to here. Because he is kind of excited when he's with Diane.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like,
we're on
an adventure. And then Diane's gone and he's like, this?
Gotcha.
I'm gonna beat these guys up, I guess.
So here's to me the big mystery about part 18 is what I guess I was gonna say is what's happening.
What's going on?
But the big mystery to me is what's the sequence of what's the order? Because we get the question, is this future, is this past?
Right.
And we get the now famous line, what year is it?
Yeah.
At the very end of the episode. And of course, so does Dale know everything? Does he have like this plan? Is he running on intuition and things like that? And like I was saying, do we know that this is really Dale and things like that? So why don't you take us through? So starting with we get a recap of Dale Cooper's holding Laura Palmer's hand. Yeah. And he's walking her away from her destiny of being murdered.
Right.
And we do see in part 17, her body like disappears, right? So there's the retroactively
recon.
So when he's walking her through the darkness toward the single sycamore tree with kind of the golden oil or whatever it is, then there's the scratch sound.
Yeah.
It's like that the giant or the fireman talked about. Then Laura's gone. We hear Laura scream.
Yeah.
And then,
which is the same scream that happens in the first episode.
Happens in the lodge or in the waiting room.
Or in the second episode.
And then Dale Cooper kind of hears something. He hears sort of like a backward sound effect, or it seems like he hears a backward sound effect.
Yeah.
He turns to look, and then we are back in the red room.
Yeah. And is it future? Is it past?
And so Mike is asking, is it future? Is it past? So
and then there's no Laura in the chair.
And there's no Laura in the chair. Yeah. So the question number one then is, did he disappear? So he's back in time.
Yeah.
He's back in 1989.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
And walking Laura, does he, after Laura disappears, does he then pop into the Black Lodge, or is this a memory or something else? So does he just like, I'm standing here and now I'm in the waiting room, or is it something else that happens?
I think that he's leading Laura, and then retcon happens and he's back in the lodge, and then there's like not really a reason for him to be in the lodge. So the one-armed man's like, is it future or is it past?
Yeah.
And it's like, neither.
So when
absolutely neither.
Yeah. So how should we interpret some of the so Laura is not in the chair.
Not in the chair.
Or she's not.
We hear her scream still.
Yeah. Well, she shows it. The interesting thing is, like, he walks around and he sees the arm again.
Yeah.
Who says, "Is this the story of the little girl who lived down the lane?"
Right. Which is what Audrey says in her
wherever she is. Yeah. Yeah. So
sterile hell.
Yeah. So there are the different variations happening with this new Red Room sequence.
Yeah.
But Laura does show up and whisper in his ear. He says, huh? And then she gets whisked away and screamed. Right. And then he's like,
whoa. And then he looks down.
And he looks down and he gets out pretty soon after that. He sees Leland. He sees Leland again.
Right.
Leland says, find Laura. Then he walks down the hallway and kind of confidently shakes his hand.
Yeah.
And the curtains ripple. And then he opens it up and he's outside and there's Diane and the sycamore trees.
Yeah.
So what's happening in your interpretation?
I feel like, okay, so we talk about like how the shaky hand, everybody in the town's like getting a shaky hand, and then the Black Lodge opens up.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he's just like, reverse, no more of that. Let me open it myself.
So the shaky hand is intentional in this case.
Yeah.
And he's using that to open the Black Lodge. It does.
And he walks out, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's important, I think.
Instead of running.
Yeah.
He's
like, just gonna walk.
Yeah,
he's gonna be confident.
So in that interpretation, he's got a plan to take Laura.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a plan to take Laura. He's taking Laura. He didn't expect Laura to disappear.
Right. I don't think so.
So he didn't expect Laura to disappear there.
Yeah.
He pops back into the Red Room.
Right.
Sees Laura again.
Yeah.
And says, huh?
Huh?
And so what do you think Laura tells him?
I think she tells him that she's in a different place and maybe where to go. Because he's like, this is the place later on. Okay.
So you think that she may have said,
go to here.
You need to go to here. I'm at the Judy's restaurant.
Yeah. I'm at Judy's.
In Odessa in this other universe, maybe.
Yeah.
You need to drive.
Right. Through something.
Through that thing. 430 miles away. Yeah. So you think that she's whispering some of those things to him? Okay. So she's maybe whispering coordinates or like another plan.
Yeah.
That's your interpretation.
Yes.
All right.
What about you?
Well, the thing that I can't wrap my head around yet, among the many things, is that when Dale Cooper comes out of the lodge and sees Diane and Gordon Cole's not there.
Yeah, where the heck is Gordon Cole?
And I'm not sure how Diane knew. So if we think of like part 17, he's like, "I'll see you at the curtain call."
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting. Maybe that's his code to Diane.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes sense. So that's his code to Diane. See you at the curtain call because there's the curtains there.
Yeah.
And so Diane knows I'm going to go to this place.
Yeah. And Gordon just got
where the curtains
lost.
are. And maybe
maybe Gordon died.
Well, or
we don't know where they went. They were just in that place.
We don't know how long he's been in this. If he has returned to the lodge, we don't know how long he's been there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So because it could be another.
Yeah. Okay. I've been thinking about something. Yeah. So the woman with no eyes that turns out to be Diane.
Yeah.
She's like, don't go into the number 15.
Yeah.
What episode does she come out on? What episode does Andy picks her up? Is that episode 15?
It might be episode 15.
I think that's episode 15. I'm pretty sure it is.
We'll have to check. That's pretty funny. It's kind of crazy.
She's like, I gotta go out that door. You can't go out that door.
That's my door.
That's my door.
And then she doesn't go out that door. There's a lot of interesting parallels between some of the numbers and some of the episodes that we see. Going back to what I can't wrap my mind around is that when Dale Cooper comes out and he sees Diane.
Yeah.
And she says, "Is it you?" "Yes, it's me." "Is it you?" and then
she goes, yes.
Yeah, and then we see them in this old car, driving
which
down.
Is really old.
So there's this. So if that is them, and then it's cutting to them, if there's like a little bit of a passage of time. So what we're missing a lot of exposition that would happen if the camera stayed on Dale Cooper's like, all right, well, I'm really hungry. Let me tell you what's been going on and what we need to do. I got these coordinates from Laura Palmer. The giant told me 4:30. So that means the miles. Let's get this old car. We need an old car because we don't know what time we're going to be in.
Right.
So we might travel in the 50s or we might be the 2050s. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's
go old car.
Go old model because then you can just say it's classic.
Yeah. Wow, that's in great condition.
So we're leaving a lot of room for like, just like, what did they say and what did they do?
Yeah.
And Diane in the car seems to know. It's like,
she knows what's going on.
She's like, knows. It's like, are you sure you want to do this, Coop?
Yeah.
You know, things
are changing.
So it's like they kind of know that they're playing with time or the universe or something like that.
Yeah.
And it seems
like she knows she's gonna leave.
It seems like their goal is still to get Laura, right? It's still something about Laura.
Right.
But I don't know that for sure because there's this kind of gap.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that creeps me out is that when he comes out to talk and first talks with Diane, he doesn't really seem like himself.
He doesn't seem like Dale.
When he's in the car, it's kind of iffy when he's talking to her. Because he seems kind of excited when he's like, you know, he's looking, it's here, and he's so he's not exactly like Mr. C.
Yeah, but he's not like Dale.
He's more like Mr. C than he is Dale.
Yeah,
and that seems very true when he says "kiss me."
Yeah, and she's like
in the car. It's like we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then when they go to the hotel,
don't turn up.
When they go to when they cross over and it's dark, they're not saying anything. They're like, wow, it worked.
Yeah, they're just like, yep.
Wow, this is fascinating, right? They're just like, keep driving.
That's me.
So you almost wonder if like they switched, if there's like another, if Richard and Linda are like another thing, and that's them.
Switched. Like he's Richard and he's like crazy.
I don't know if he's crazy.
Well, no. I mean, like he switches. Like that's Richard of this world, and Linda's like, "Geez, Richard, you're really crazy."
Yeah. So I guess so.
Well, like you keep calling yourself Dale.
So if they switched. Yeah. If they let's say they switched.
Yeah.
And
he keeps calling Linda Diane.
I don't know. So do they talk to each other? Do they call each other's names when they get to the hotel?
No, but he does when he wakes up.
Yeah, when he wakes up, nobody's there, and he's in a different hotel.
Yeah. So is he becoming? Are they like becoming Richard and Linda?
So do they? So
do they live for a little while?
Or I don't know if Dale just apparated in a hotel room, and there just happened to be a note from Linda to Richard that has nothing to do with them switching places.
Yeah.
So when they're at the old-fashioned hotel, and Diane goes in, turns on the light. When he says, "Turn off the light" or "Leave the light off" or whatever, so he's kind of commanding her. It's like, "What now?" And he's like, "Come here, and kiss me." And then they have sex, and she's covering up his face.
Yeah, she's like, "No more of that."
So it feels like everything that the doppelganger Diane said about when she said she talks about 2 kisses.
Yeah.
And something about like after the kiss, she knew it wasn't Dale.
Yeah, but he was excited
that he raped me and he took me to another place.
Yeah.
And so it seems like all of those things that she mentioned are basically happening.
Yeah.
And now, on the one hand, you might say, like, it seems like there's consensual sex going on.
But you don't know.
I don't know if it's if she feels like she's in danger with this strange Mr. C kind of person that's not really consensual.
Yeah.
And also, we don't know exactly what truth or lies, fabrications that the doppelganger Diane
and we also
saying.
Don't know, like, what was happening with Mr. C, because he does seem to have a power over at least doppelganger Diane, or because he can just be like, "Oh," and she'll be like, "All right,
I guess I have to do
I guess I have to do it."
one way of looking at this scene is that if we're kind of doing a non-linear kind of thing, Dale Cooper, Mr. C, what we might see that we think is Dale Cooper coming out of the lodge in 2017 is actually Mr. C coming out of the lodge for the first time, and Diane is there, and that's actually in the past 25 years ago, even though they both look like they're the age thing, but they still look pretty good.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah,
we don't know.
And going back to, we're also seeing that old car, so it's not showing us. They could be back in the 90s. Yeah. Right? That scene could be in the 90s.
And here's the thing. When Dale wakes up in the hotel with Richard and Linda, no, that could be him like right after he looks at Laura.
Yes.
Like flying away. You could be like, oh.
So here's my current interpretation.
Yikes. Yeah.
And it's open for subject to change.
Yeah. Well, they all are.
It's subject to change. I think that Mr. C at some point goes back into the waiting room, posing as Dale Cooper, posing as the good Cooper to get some kind of information about stuff. Whispers. Yeah. So to get some kind of information about things. And maybe that's why Laura whispers in the screens, because realizes that's the bad person. Yeah. So he goes, he's back, he's in the lodge getting some information. Yeah. He goes out of the lodge, like we see, and he knows how to get out of the lodge.
Right. He's like, whoo.
Right. He knows how to get out of the lodge.
Which we don't think Dale does, to be fair.
Doesn't seem like it, right? Yeah. Because he had to
wait.
He had to wait a really long time.
Yeah,
and basically he had to be gifted,
right?
To get out. Yeah, and then even then when the one-armed man was trying to follow me this way, he got blocked.
He's like,
he got blocked, and then the evil doppelganger opened the floor. And he fell out.
Yeah.
So
Dale has a hard time with
I do like the idea that Dale Cooper is like, well, I know this now, and I just use my wavy hand, and I'm much better at this now. But with this current theory that I've got, so I think that Mr. C, it's back in the past.
Yeah.
Mr. C comes out of the lodge. Diane is there.
Yeah.
And those things happen to her that she said.
Right.
Now they're described kind of differently. Right. Because I think she talks about it's like there's no knock, no bell, but she's actually showed up there for whatever reason.
Right.
And
I mean, I guess it is a curtain, so there's no knock or bell.
Yeah. So she shows up there. She, when she is having sex with him, there's the doppelganger of Diane somewhere around that's going to take her place.
Right.
So I think that there's something that happens after she has sex with Mr. C that then he takes her away to put her in.
Yeah, and she is closing his eyes.
Yes.
Could be like a weird twisted.
Yes, kind of like, right? It's like very much like that's
like that lady.
That's what she's kind of doing to herself.
Yeah.
Really?
She's like, haha, no.
So I think that sequence is a Mr. C Diane that we're seeing the past of how Mr. C stole Diane away.
Yeah.
And that between Dale Cooper trying to take Laura, and then she disappears, and then whatever ripple effect happens, that Dale Cooper kind of shifts out of existence or whatever, and then wakes up in the modern day hotel room, probably having a dream
about
Mr. C and Diane.
Yeah.
Because there's probably a connection.
Right.
And so him being out of the lodge now, there's probably some memories of Mr. C that he maybe is in touch with.
And maybe that's why he's having a hard time at the cafe. So he's like, bang.
Yeah. So
he's like not putting up with any bullshit.
Yeah. So that's kind of my interpretation right now. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
And I want to hear
I
want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So so
I like it.
You kind of like it? Is it influential to you, or do you think
it's influential? I actually like that more because it's like separate. A lot of it, I feel like there's parts where it's like, I have theories, but I don't have anything substantial.
Yeah. I also feel that's how David Lynch is.
Yeah.
Like with this episode, that he kind of was putting things together. Yeah. And that's why I was wondering about this is the Mr. C Diane abduction scene.
Right.
Because David Lynch might have film that and not sure
and then
where
put
he
it
wanted.
like at the end.
Yeah, he might not know where he wanted to put it and decide like this is going to fit here. This will fit here well.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have, other than his age.
Yeah.
I don't really have any indication that's Dale Cooper. There's nothing that makes me feel like there's not the same kind of benevolence. Right. Now, there's not the level of cruelty that we see from Mr. C.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Because there is that doppelganger hanging around.
Yeah. So, but it would mean, for that theory to work, it does mean that Mr. C has to go at some point back into the lodge. Yeah. But I kind of think
I think he could probably do.
Yeah, because we see him go into the Black Lodge to talk
also,
with
they're
Jeffries
confused. They're like, oh, it's Dale.
Well, that's also.
They're like, it's Dale, right?
Because Philip Jeffries is like, is that you, Coop? Is that you know? They don't automatically know who it is. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. Mr. C, the idea that Mr. C is like is fooling them,
even the one-armed man.
Yeah,
yeah.
Now, one flaw of that theory might be that that because Mr. C is spending all this time and energy to not go back there, if there's no way he would want to go back.
Well, not yet. Maybe it's like a time period thing, though.
It might be something like that.
Like if it's actually like 2 years after he got out originally, he's like, yeah, I can go back. No problem.
That's true, because it seems like there's a 25-year limit. Yeah. So if we're talking about back in the past, then he could probably do that.
Yeah.
Good point. Well, thanks for helping me with that. Anything else you want to say about the Diane scene with the hotel?
I don't think so. Again, it's like, there it is.
You were saying that when we see, she looks from the car and sees her doppelganger, and what do you think might have happened?
I was like, did the doppelganger just like kill her?
Yeah, so you're wondering if like she's in the trunk.
Like if it was like regular time, like if that was Dale, and he's like, let me go sign in, and then like doppelganger kills her, other doppelganger kills Dale, bad Dale comes back, and bad doppelganger, like they're both bad. Yeah. And then like she's like dead in the back of the trunk. The back of the car. Yeah. Because they like you see them from the back of the car from that angle, but I don't like that theory. But I thought about it. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. It's pretty dark.
It's like that a lot has to happen.
Yeah. But it is funny that, you know, the lack of reactions of these characters, Diane and Dale Cooper or whatever he is, when it's like, well, we'll drive here. Oh, it's now nighttime.
It's nighttime and we're going fast.
I'll look out. Yeah, we're going really fast. I'll look out the window. Oh, there's doppelganger. Yeah. It's like
neat.
In theory, you've already had this happen. You think you'd be upset, but it's like, yep, that's happening.
Yeah. Cool.
And so in some ways, I'm wondering if they are still in sort of lodges or alternate universes, because when you're in one of these lodges, you're not like, acting right. You're very passive. Like, when can I leave?
Oh no.
You're either talking backwards or you're reacting kind of very slowly.
Yeah.
Dougie. All right, so then let's talk about Dale Cooper when he wakes up and reads in the new motel that we haven't seen before with a new car outside. Yeah. What do you think's going on? What's going on? Basically, what's going on in his mind? How much does he know? What does Dale Cooper know? What do you think Dale Cooper's plan is?
I think he's going on intuition alone. I think that in this scene, if we're going off of your theory, which I really like, he's been like thrust into this situation right after he's like taking.
So he's holding her hand in the bump. He wakes
and he's
up,
like,
wakes up
"No, Diane," because he's like, "Is it curtain call?" And so then he's like, okay, I'm going to read this. All right. I got a car out here. I guess I'll just go. And then he's like, Judy's. That makes sense. Why?
Because Philip Jeffries said, this will take you to the place where Judy is.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's Judy's diner. Yeah. And it's like, okay,
and he's also then, when he talks to the waitress and he's like, where's the other waitress?
Yeah.
So he's going off intuition that she's working there.
Right. And he's just like, there might be another waitress.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like he just asked.
Right? So it's like,
who's the other
and it's also interesting, he's not asking like, I'm looking for Laura Palmer. He's not saying those things.
Yeah.
What do you think of the three cowboys that he kicks their butt?
I like it. I think my favorite part of the scene is the old lady going, who is that? Because that's all of us watching. It's just like,
who is
we
that?
signed on for the last episode of Twin Peaks, and this is definitely not it. Who is that? Could we maybe like go back. Who is that? I love how she just keeps saying it too.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how I felt when I thought about it again. I was like, yeah, who is that?
So is Dale Cooper at this point when he's in Odessa?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's reality for Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah.
There's the Twin Peaks reality.
Yeah.
The land where there's Sheriff Truman and Andy and Lucy and
good stuff.
And
bad stuff.
So there's the Twin Peaks land.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's the above the convenience store weird lodges.
Yeah.
The weird lodges and stuff like that. Where is Odessa? Is it Twin Peaks land? Weird place? Some other like down below. You can't even see your hand.
Oh, sorry. It's like underneath Twin Peaks.
Okay.
It's like another reality, more real than Twin Peaks.
More so it's
less connected to the spirit world than Twin Peaks.
Less connected to the spirit world than Twin Peaks. Yeah. And so this
she fell.
This is a place where, because we have the lady who owns the house, I think Mary Reber, is the actress who plays Alice Tremond at the end. Yeah. So the owner of the Everett house is answering the door. Yeah. And we also talked about how when they drive through Twin Peaks, which might actually be North Bend, right? Yeah. When they drive through Twin Peaks, they pass the R&R while it's closed. And there's no R&R to go, so it's not dressed up the way it normally is. Yeah. It looks realistic. And there's a sense of realism when they're driving for 10 minutes. Forever. But they drive a long ways. Yeah. And there's also they stop at the gas station. Yeah. We just see them walking out of the gas station. He shows
his badge.
He's showing his badge.
A little more realistic.
So here's the thing. How did he get his badge?
I think everything on him just stays on him. So I think he's still in the same clothes he was when he went into the lodge the first time.
So he gets his badge back to him, right? His badge and his gun back?
Yes, that's right.
And so does he go into the lodge originally in season 2 with those things?
Yeah, I think so.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll just assume
it's just that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's the stuff that he had. So he is not reporting to anybody. Yeah. Here, right? He's not deciding like, hey, I'm going to make a phone call and
let me see if Gordon's here.
Call Gordon Cole or anybody else to say things like maybe. Well, he doesn't seem, because he's so skilled at taking those guys down and saying like, give me the address. I'm going to put these in the oil. The bullets might go off.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
but I don't know that he's thinking like I'm in the 2017. I don't know if he's thinking that. And I don't know that he is.
Well, the funny thing is that he, when he was Stale Dale, he was absorbing a lot. So he wasn't ever saying like, wow, what's this phone and stuff like that.
He was just like, I don't know. But when he says,
but he does have basically a very short window of Dale Cooperness. Yeah. Right. He wakes up from the coma out of the hospital. He gets on an airplane and he goes to Twin Peaks.
And goes into the lodge.
And he stops Mr. C, or he watches
that guy stop Mr. C.
He watches that guy stop Mr. C.
He's like, punch him.
Gives a little speech. Yeah. Says things are going to change, and then he goes into the lodge. Yeah. Or into whatever doorway.
I hope I'll see you all again. Yeah. Bye.
So he goes. So it's a very short time.
Yeah.
And so there's
probably like 24 hours.
Yeah. So it's a very short time. So he doesn't really get caught up on what year it is. Yeah. So is him saying what year is this? Does that mean that he's made a mistake? Is he just now realizing, like, was he supposed to go to a certain year?
So I think that maybe, okay, here's my theory on the what year is this question, because I think that maybe he's brought her here at the wrong time. Because it's like, oh, I gotta wait another thing. So I think if this next thing is going to be Twin Peaks, it's like, going to open with the year, and then we're going to cut to them like waiting around.
Just waiting on the corner. It's like now we can go and
okay, now we can go and ask. Yeah. Yeah. Like there's like something specific with the year. Like it has to be 2022 or something like that. Or whenever it's coming out.
So
it needs to be then.
So they might be.
They're waiting for 4 years.
It might be too early or too late.
Yeah,
but
I think they're too
kind of too
late.
Early.
Yeah, they're too early. Too late in time.
Too late in time. It's the wrong
like
time.
he was like, oh, I should have waited. Probably.
I was thinking that he that when he's looking down at the ground, that he is seeing the one-armed man again, and that he's asking the one-armed man, like, what year is this? Right. And the one-armed man is going like, I told you to take the left turn at Philip Jeffries' tube or something like that. So let's talk about this. So what is his plan? He
doesn't have a plan.
He doesn't have it. So he's just going on intuition. Yeah. But why does he
want to take her to the house? I think Sarah has a plan. I think Sarah has more of a plan than he does.
So
Sarah's like a sender and he's receiving.
So he's receiving something from Sarah.
Yeah, but he's also sending. He's a strong sender to Sarah, and Sarah's like, "Ooh, yeah, bring it over."
Is this mother-daughter reunion going to be like, in theory, a good thing for both of them?
Yes.
And that Sarah. So you're kind of going with Sarah has this connection to Laura, right? Your theory is the monstrous part is actually Laura's power. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. Gotcha. So like, Sarah's connected to Laura's power a little bit, and like Laura and Sarah have been communicating up until this point. Yeah. And so now Sarah's like, she's gone, and that's why we hear like,
because she's smashing the Laura picture. Right. Yeah.
But that's why we hear Laura at the end, and then Laura's like, oh crap, like she's waking up a little bit. Yeah. Like she's like,
so why is she screaming?
Because I think that part of Sarah is letting this Laura live kind of a semi-normal life. Okay.
Even though she's
like
in like Odessa with we haven't even talked about the dead body.
Oh my god, the dead body. I still think it's Richard. Wait.
No, you think it's Steven. Tell us your theory on the dead body.
Okay, the theory on the dead body is that he is actually from Twin Peaks. He's Steven, the guy who shoots himself. Dad was like, why would he shoot himself like this? And I was like, that's probably a good question. However,
it is Steven.
It is Steven. And I'm not going to say that. Never mind. Continuing. Oh. Anyway.
So why do you think that because that guy does, they both look like deadbeats, but this guy looks like older.
I know, but I think he's from them. Like, I think he kills himself and he just shows up there.
It's interesting, she's like, his hands are like he
doesn't look like he's sitting in a chair.
Yeah, his hands are very unnatural, it seems like, because you think if you got killed, then your body would relax and then you'd go rigor mortis. Yeah. So the way his hands
do that.
I guess
bodies can do that. Bodies can lift up their little hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
just back to more morbid conversation.
Yeah, so it's strange that the body's there. Yeah. Strange the positioning of the body. Yeah. The body seems to have like a patch of vomit.
Yeah, little gorgonzola.
So it seems like it's some pain and suffering or something like that. So maybe it was another manufactured person. Yeah. There is an assault rifle sitting like nearby. Yeah. But the strangest part to me is that Dale Cooper does not say anything about it. Nobody says anything about it. So
that's why I think it's from Twin Peaks.
And so it just might be Dale Cooper seeing it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Well, no, because she looks at him. She's like,
oh, she looks at it when she closes the door.
I think that she might be the only one saying it. Like he's just looking around the room.
He's looking around the room. And
he's like, there's some trash in here.
So you think so your theory is, I like this pretty well. Yeah. So your theory is that while he was sitting next to the tree, Steven kills himself and appears in Carrie Page's house.
Yes. And only Carrie Page
can see him.
And she's like, I don't know why he's here. And she probably like tried to move him.
So that's kind of interesting. So you think that there might be
there's like connections
if there's
to Carrie
other
Page.
People that get killed in Twin Peaks, their bodies might go to this level.
Yeah. Well, like Josie, remember when Josie disappears? Yeah. And her little face is there? I feel like she would be in this world.
She'd be in this world as a body.
Yeah.
It is interesting when we saw Ray.
It's like we see people go into the
when
lodge.
Ray gets killed and he shows up in the lodge.
It's not impossible for bodies to travel in this world.
Sure. All right. So if that's true, what does it mean? Why is that? Why is that happening?
Because it's connected to her best friend, Donna.
It's connected to her best friend, Donna. Okay, so things that are happening that are Donna's sister.
That's her boyfriend.
That's the traumatic stuff's happening to her. So, okay, well, your theory is kind of interesting.
It's kind of fun, right? Like, I don't know what else we're supposed to do with that dead body, so I've just decided it's him.
And I like the idea that only Carrie can see it.
Yeah, she's like.
Now, here's what I think's interesting.
Yeah.
Hawk says, and I don't know if Hawk is correct on this. It's a little sketchy about the pages missing from the diary. But remember, they find missing pages from the diary.
Right.
I think 3.
Yeah.
And Hawk says that, these 3 pages were missing from the diary. There's one more missing page.
Yeah. Carrie
Page. One more missing page.
I like that. One more missing page. It fell to this next level. There she is.
Yeah. So like
her ideas about the world are just really vague.
I don't know.
Like about Twin Peaks are vague, but like she has this other life.
Maybe.
That's why she's like, when he's like, your mom's Sarah. Sarah?
Yeah. And when
your dad's Leland. Okay.
Yeah, it's not exactly confirming it, but it's not denying it.
Yeah, she's just like vaguely like interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So when Dale Cooper shows up, she's like saying, "Did you find him?"
Yeah. Did you find him?
She's talking about anybody.
Is she talking about the guy who's on her couch?
Maybe.
I don't know. I can't tell.
So the interesting thing about the guy on the couch is that almost everything else about this version of the world feels very realistic.
Yeah.
But the guy on the couch feels like we're in David Pinch. We're in. Well, I was gonna say, the guy on the couch the dead guy on the couch. Feels like we're still in David Lynch territory.
Right. Well, that's interesting because it's only tied to this Laura Page.
This Carrie Page. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it's only tied to her. So I feel like things fall into this world. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that little horse was in their house, in somebody's house in Twin Peaks, and they're like, it's lost. And like she put it there.
Yeah.
And like all the items in her house seem like items that would just like get lost and people wouldn't be able to find it. And then just be like, here they are in her house.
So there's the white horse statue in the house.
Yeah.
And
there's the trash, the bucket, that kind of stuff. It just kind of falls into that. By having like a ceramic horse in this universe, does that make the hallucination of the horse appear? Or does having the horse appear as a hallucination make the horse make the thing show up in the Carrie Page world? I'm not sure. I just feel like there's a strong connection with Carrie Page and this world. Like a little piece of Laura fell in here.
Yeah.
Like a little piece of Laura fell here, and then this is kind of like the catch-all zone. Like things fall in here. It also looks like every place we look at is like kind of not trash. Like kind of just like this could be anywhere. And so I wouldn't be surprised if like a house fell off of the earth and like landed here, and they were like, "Yep, neat. This is our
Wizard
house."
of Oz.
The only place is home.
Yeah, the only place. There's nowhere to go but home.
Yeah. She also doesn't seem like she knows her parents.
Well, it seems like, it seems like she's very damaged.
Yeah.
And so
she's just kind of ready.
So is Dale Cooper trying to, is his mission to save Laura? Is that mission number one? It's like, I'm going to save her.
Yeah.
I've decided that she, for whatever reason, maybe because he was told to, maybe he just feels like she's really special, that golden ball.
Right.
So you think his mission's like, I need to save her.
Yeah, and now, I don't know that that's the correct mission.
Do you think that the White Lodge wants Dale Cooper to save her?
No.
Okay,
I don't know.
You're not sure.
I still feel like the White Lodge and the Black Lodge are the same.
Yeah.
So I still feel like they're layers.
Is the fireman
I don't know.
We talked about how it seems like when Dale Cooper is giving Philip Jeffries the coordinates to do whatever thing he's doing, that he's going. It seems like he's not doing this. He's not going.
Yeah.
But it's more like, this is not gonna work.
That's not really gonna work, buddy. Yeah.
So I think the funny thing is when I first watched it, I felt that
this was the right thing.
Well, no, I felt like Dale. I didn't think it was the right thing necessarily. I thought it was like, maybe you shouldn't mess with time because what's going to happen to the evil things like Bob and the unknown variables and things like that. And so like Huck says she's in the ground, so maybe like just be at peace. Yeah. Especially because with Fire Walk With Me, we see the angel, looking upon her, and so it seems like she's being saved, or she's seen herself, or there's an angelic aspect to her existence.
To this,
yes. So it seemed like that was her being at peace at the end of Fire Walk With Me.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea of messing with that potential peace is like, whoa, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Maybe don't.
So, but I when I first watched it, I thought that. It's like, oh, Dale Cooper really feels like, hey, I've settled things here, vanquished Bob.
It's time to go to the next level.
It's time to save Laura. She didn't deserve this to happen to her, and we can fix other things by saving her. So I'm going to go back in time and fix the problem that started it all in Twin Peaks, and I'm going to pull her out. But it's
not the problem.
Of course, it's not the problem. But I think that's
weird thing.
So my idea was that Dale Cooper was still having this savior complex, this so because he had, because it's like him going in a circle with Caroline, like I gotta save her, she's dead.
No.
Laura
Audrey,
like people like Laura and Audrey have died, and I tried to bring them to get justice for them, for Teresa Banks and Laura Palmer. So he's trying to, if not save them, get them justice. And then Annie is in trouble, and he's trying to save her.
He's like, I gotta go through.
And he's not really able to do so.
Yeah.
So part of me was thinking like he was on this, but now that I've watched it again, and now that I know that Dale Cooper and Major Briggs have probably communicated a lot. The firemen and Dale Cooper communicated a lot. Gordon Cole knew about Judy Day or whatever. And so I feel like that there is a plan in the works.
Yeah. I don't know that it's Dale's plan. I also feel that way.
I don't know that it's Dale's plan.
I don't think it's Dale's plan.
But Dale might, like you say, might be going on intuition more so than anything.
It's like, wrong year.
Yeah, because he seems very confused. He seems like, I don't know what to do now.
They said they weren't them.
Yeah, Sarah's supposed to be here, and now I don't know what's going to go on.
Right.
But it feels like that there is a plan in the works, and I don't think the end game is just, hey, let's save this 17-year-old girl from being murdered. I think the two birds with one stone aspect is that there's something else that's going to happen. Yeah. Do you have any theories about that, or any corrections that you want to make to that?
I feel like there's going to be something to do with the year, and I think that our opening sequence for this next possible Twin Peaks thing is gonna be like what year it is.
Okay.
So like the opening card is gonna be like 2020.
That's if they do more.
Yeah.
If they do more. So what do you think Judy is?
I think that it is actually that Judy place.
Okay, so it's just,
I think that's the weird thing that's
the little
lost
bug
in translation.
thing, the little bug thing or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that's Judy. I think that they named it after Judy, and like Judy took on a new name, and that maybe that thing is Judy.
So Judy is just a clue to where to find Laura.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's like a stepping stone. Like, okay.
So when Philip Jeffries was saying we're not going to talk about Judy. Why would he say that?
He thought that there was more to Judy, but like it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot more to Judy, but at the beginning there's not. Like it's just a clue. Like it's like,
so
here's this pen.
So let me clarify things. Do you think Dale Cooper is just trying to save Laura, and that's all he's doing?
I don't know if he's. Well, I think that part of his plan is like, I'm gonna follow the plan, but the plan is for me to save her, and I don't think he knows the rest of the plan.
Okay.
Like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna save her.
It's not his plan.
It's not his plan.
So whose plan do you think it is?
I think it is Major Briggs and Gordon Cole's plan.
Okay.
I think Gordon Cole has more to do with this.
So Major Briggs and Gordon Cole.
Yeah.
And why would they want Laura to be moved from one place to another? Whether we're talking about time or whether we're talking about
actual place.
Odessa to Twin Peaks.
Maybe there is something bigger about to happen. We see that like white guy with the bear and a guy. Maybe she's
the one
supposed
that was
to fight
in the explosion.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe she's
but you don't think that's
him.
Judy. You think
Zhao
Day or whatever. Okay, so here's my theory. I think that whatever the figure is that's spewing the stuff and the eggs and the bob and stuff like that, I think that is Zhao Day.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm going to go a bit further into my prediction. You can see what I think. Because I've been asking myself, it's like, well, why would they want to save Laura? I mean, on the one hand, it's like, it's nice to be able to save an individual, but it's not worth it to retrocon time and also to risk your own livelihoods. So why would Laura sort of be the one? Like, what does that mean? Yeah. And you talked about how Laura had stopped Bob, but we didn't know what Bob was going to go on to do.
Right.
We kind of said
I felt
maybe
like he was paving the way.
Maybe something like that, or we talked about sort of like, what if he infected Laura and Leland, and then other and other people, and sort of multiplying things. But in many ways, we talked about how Bob and Mr. C are very selfish, and very destructive and very evil. Yeah. But it's really just like them having a good time by their own immoral standards. Right. And Mr. C is not interested in taking over things. Yeah. Seems like Bob wants to take over an individual. Right. One at a time, but we're not talking about sort of this cosmic horror or whatever, right? They're not going to make a Cthulhu kind of thing to take over the world. Right. So that's the interesting thing about the level of evil we've seen. Yeah. It's bad, you want to stop it, but it's also not like end world Avengers kind of Thanos kind of thing. And so then I was thinking that Zhao Day was that kind of entity where it's like, if we don't stop this, really bad things are going to happen with the words. But now I've altered. Is it
Joy Day?
It's Joy Day. Yeah.
Because you only choose joy. You only choose your selfish joy.
Oh, maybe like each day you only choose your own selfish joy. That's an interesting idea.
Because they're always just like, that's what I want to do.
What do I want to do today?
That's what I'm going to do.
And do crazy things. Yeah. So it seems like the creature that's spewing stuff. If we think of that as like a Pandora's box that is spewed all of the evils of mankind. Mm-hmm. I don't think, in my current theory, I don't think that Dale and Gordon and Albert, and we'll also say Major Briggs, and I don't know about the firemen, we'll stick with the humans. Yeah. And I think that their plan is, and David Bowie, to some extent, except he's kind of rogue. He's kind of rogue. But Chet Desmond also, that we haven't seen, and I would love to find out what he's up to. So that small group of FBI people, I think what they've stumbled upon is this idea of that Zhao Day is the engine that creates evil. Yeah. The engine that creates evil. It's like, so it's the evil that's in the hearts of men and any other sort of like living sort of entity.
To create that.
Yeah, that's
lust.
Yes. Yeah. So all the kind of like all those bad things. Yeah. And so I think what they're trying to do is end evil. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So because that's a big mission, right? Yeah. And so that you would go to the ends of the universe if you thought that, hey, we can end evil. Yeah.
And so Laura would be kind of like a key.
And so Laura is a key to ending evil.
Yeah. And that's how I kind of feel about Laura currently, or this page. It's like, we're just using this, kind of like we're going to use her to help us. Yeah. She's kind of the key. Yeah. And like, even like in Fire Walk With Me, she doesn't really want to be the key, but we're going to use her anyways. Sure. Kind of like, just throw it out.
And so that, so
it's her problem.
So that's the interesting thing, right? Then Laura becomes like this hockey puck. Yeah. Right. That like the evil want to control over it, and the Laura's good guys, like this and the good guys are going to want to control it too. And she's like, I'm just a kid.
I'm just trying to live.
Yeah. And so that's my working theory right now, because it's like I wanted to try to think of it's got to be something big
Right.
And also it ties back into Dale's love of Tibet. Yeah. And sort of this Tibetan Buddhist sort of kind of Zen idea. Yeah. Well, I don't know how Zen it is really. I think Zen would actually be more accepting of the yin and the yang and the good and the evil. Which is
interesting because I feel like that's what Laura kind of represents.
The yin and the yang of things.
Is like the yin yang.
Yeah.
And they're like, what if we just stopped all evil? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, it's it makes us ask the question: is like that a good? Like,
is that great?
What would happen? What would happen to free will, basically?
Right. Yeah, which is being taken away by Bob and C, anyways.
Yeah. So if we reversed it so that it's like, well, what if really good people possessed you? Yeah. It's like, well, you're still being influenced or possessed.
That's still not a choice.
Yeah. So
whereas
if they continued Twin Peaks. I think that's what it might explore, like that the team of good guys might be sort of tracking down to Jaude or whatever it is to destroy this entity of evil. Yeah. But then find out that if we do this, it's actually not ironically, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. And I think
completely vanquish evil.
If we're thinking about it in that way, I think Dale Cooper will actually be like, oh, actually, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And there'll be like this kind of role switch of like, hey, let's actually not. Like to Gordon Cole and to like other kind of power hungry figures where it's like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
I think even Diane could be like, we need to do this. And Dale would be like, how about no? Because I actually feel like he's more like grounded. Yeah. And that's probably why in my theory of him not knowing the plan, he's just like, yeah, we're trying to save Laura, right? No? Oh. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Kind of like, I don't think we should probably get rid of free will kind of thing. Because I don't think that's what Dale Cooper's about. So I think if they told him the whole plan, if that was the whole plan, he'd be like, oh, no, I'm not going to go do that.
Interesting. So do you think, let's make predictions now about the new David Lynch show.
Yes.
Do you think that it's in some ways going to be connected to the Twin Peaks universe? Or is it just going to be just brand new David Lynch thing, brand new characters? Connected. And what way do you hope that it's connected?
What way do I hope? I hope that we explore more of where Dale and other Laura are.
Yeah. So I hope that Laura or Carrie Page or I hope the actress.
Yes.
Really, it's about
really the actress.
Yeah. If these actors were in it, then I'd be very happy.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I hope Kyle is in it.
Yeah.
And I hope Laura Palmer. Yeah. Or the actress that plays Laura Palmer is in it.
I think part of this.
I would love to see more of Audrey.
Yes, I would also. I want to know where she is. Yeah. I actually kind of feel like this isn't going to be about the Twin Peaks storyline. I feel like we're going to be in this world that she like.
The Odessa place?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to take place there. Yeah. And we're not going to really learn much about Twin Peaks, but it's going to take place there. Like Fire Walk With Me didn't address stuff. It was just like, and here's more world building. Yeah. So I feel like that's what this is going to be.
This will be further world building.
Yeah. Yeah.
With some of the characters.
Yeah, with maybe some of the characters. My hope.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. You got anything else?
No, I'm going to miss talking about this.
It's kind of crazy that it's like the last one.
Yeah. So we could watch Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
Let's keep this David Lynch party going.
It's just a movie, right?
Just a movie? Well, everybody, you better tune in. Yeah, it is a self-contained movie. But it's David Lynch, and so it welcomes you to evaluate the heck out of it. I think so. I think that Mackenzie. I don't know if we'll have time and energy to do this before Mackenzie goes on some adventures for a while. But sometime we need to watch. It'd be good to watch all of David Lynch films. But things like The Straight Story. That's about the guy that goes on a lawnmower across country. That's pretty straight. Yeah. It's pretty sort of like straight ahead story. Yeah. And Elephant Man, which I haven't seen for decades, but I remember that being a good like nonfiction retelling of Jonathan Merrick, who's known as the Elephant Man.
It's a great story.
It was nominated for like 11 Academy Awards and didn't win any.
Oh,
so it's like kind of in the history books for that. Yeah. So those are kind of like normal films. Yeah. Dune is, even though it's weird, it's sort of in this like science fiction film. But the ones that really invite you to do the level of analysis that I think you like doing are Eraserhead.
Okay.
Blue Velvet.
Yes.
Mulholland Drive.
Okay.
Lost Highway. And Inland Empire.
Okay. We'll have to watch some of these then.
They kind of get progressively
weirder.
Well, you know what? Eraserhead, the first one I mentioned, might be the weirdest of all of them. That was his passion project.
Yeah.
He says that's his most personal film.
Right.
And that's the one he made on a very, very low budget. And he made it over. They would film for like a couple weeks and then have to take like 4 or 5 months off to raise enough money to keep filming it. So he was really a labor of love that he was
just able to do it.
So that is a strange and fascinating film. Yeah. But Mulholland Drive and then Inland Empire, they get pretty weird.
Okay, we'll have to.
All right, so
let's do it.
And also, if there's other films stuff or TV shows that you would like us to talk about, again, I don't know when Mackenzie and I will have this long length of time, maybe the next quarantine or something like that. I don't know when we'll have another long length of time to talk about this again. Yeah. But we'd still love to know.
Yes,
absolutely.
We'll try and make stuff.
Yes.
You gotta make it.
Gotta keep making stuff.
Got our content farm.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. If you've watched us along the way, thank you so much. Give me
absolutely.
A hug. I love you.
Oh, I love you.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
See you next time. See you.
So sad.